for another thrilling adventure for the Kobolds and the Giants of Eldath. Praise be, by the way.
Praise be.
Yes, praise be. Praise be to Eldath. May her light shine throughout all of the Icewind Dale.
And throughout the Sword Coast.
We'll get to that later. So, where we left off last time, when Oral herself was out trying to kill me, or rather, kill the stream, you all had taken up the task to help your friend Sinar, the elven mummy, to put to rest his sister, a cursed banshee wandering throughout the lonely wood. You all traveled for some time, searching for her, and when you finally did meet her, you all engaged in combat, and upon defeating her, led you to her long-forgotten, never properly buried body. Meepo put forth the proper funeral rites, and in doing so, put to rest Sinar's sister Zalaria, as well as Sinar himself. But not before, due to your selfless help in helping Sinar, you were given a boon, which I will now highlight, should be at the top of the journal, and it should not be in GM notes this time. I double checked. You are given the favor of the crescent moon, to which you can invoke the name of Solaria or Sinar as a bonus action 3 times per day, refreshing after a long rest. Calling forth the name of Zolaria calls forth the spirit of the Moonbow Archer, to which she makes a spell attack roll with a +5 to hit, dealing 3d6 + 4 radiant damage. This attack cannot crit, however, meaning it doesn't do double the damage, but it will automatically hit. Sinar, upon invoking his name, calls forth the ever-grateful friend, forcing enemies attacking the Invoker to have disadvantage on attacks and granting +1 AC until the start of the Invoker's next turn. This boon was granted unto you to do with as you wish. As you journeyed back, going back to the Ramshackle Inn, you took your time to rest, but before you set out to your postponed goal, which you have been putting off for some time, of going to Kelvin's cairn, you were met by the doorman of Torga's hideout, who gave you a proposition to journey to the prison of Revel's End, located far to the north near the Sea of Moving Ice. A well-guarded prison where all political enemies of the Lord's Alliance are kept. This deal was as such. You were either to facilitate the escape of or break free an individual known as the Improviser, a man who was able to kill many with merely simple household objects, not unlimited to apples and other basic items. Upon the completion of this task, whether you facilitated the escape or broke him out yourself, there would be varying levels of rewards. Of course, knowing the general morals of the group, Meepo in particular, you thanked him for his time, sent him on his way, and collectively went, nah, and just went to Kelvin's cairn. To which,
As one does.
as one does, but completely expected, to which you encountered some Reged tribesmen in the middle of a blizzard, who gave you some good information about the surrounding area, particularly the location of Angajuk's Bell. One of the rumors that you had heard before, you now have a specific location for. Also near the Sea of Moving Out, also near the Sea of Moving Out, Ice, but more towards the northwest, farther from the prison. As well as narrowing down the search for the Yarlmut, but unfortunately, not narrowing it down enough where you know its exact location. And third and finally, you also learn the location of a place called the Evermelt, a hot spring dedicated to Eldath herself, located near the Regid Glacier. That would be itself very, very far to the northeast. A much farther journey than any other location that you have gone to before in the Dale. But perhaps eventually a worthy location to visit. After the blizzard passed and you all went your separate ways, you ventured closer to Kelvin's cairn, but not before you were ambushed by a party of gnolls, to which was not much of a challenge at all. In fact, you steamrolled them quite easily, much to my amusement. But of course, that is where we ended last time. Now, I'm going to move the map. As your journey continues, you eventually see Kelvin's cairn. From the distance, it looks very unlike any other mountain. The cairn itself is very apt in its name, in that it resembles many stones of tremendous and varying sizes, all stacked upon the other, into a great, almost inconceivably large pile, going as high as 1,000 feet into the air. A tremendous sight to behold. And you all are quite far away. There we go. Here, let me double check the stream, make sure, get a little bit closer. Actually, no.
Well, it's certainly a sight to behold.
That it is.
It's a big old pile of rocks.
It is big. It's probably pretty old.
As far as your history goes, and as much as you know, it is in fact quite old. However, one thing you become immediately aware of is how little area there is to actually climb. Now, I've put you on this map to give you an idea of the scale. And although I don't believe I've made it so that you can actually see how far you can actually go. I'm keeping track of that on my own space. But as far as actually climbing up the mountain, there is no easy way to do it from your current position, as far as you can tell. So,
Skanuk, you got any plans for a flying machine?
Not currently, but I like the way you think.
I am a
So-
kobold.
And then Skunk is immediately lost to his notebook.
Have to wonder, there's no obvious way up it, maybe there's a way under it. I start poking around the outskirts looking for possible ways to get in. I mean, it's a cairn, right? That's like, I don't know, pile of rocks you put where you bury someone, right?
That's true.
Go ahead and make a survival check for me, all of you, as this will be a group check.
But here's the thing. I'm looking up there, and I'm looking around. And I'm looking and seeing that there's not much space to climb. And then I'm thinking of all the heroics I've heard of happening here. And I just can't picture it. Where do you stand? Where do you do your fancy hero pose? Where do you conjure your panther? I don't know. It just doesn't
Panther, Bean pipes up.
Yeah, it's a thing, trust me.
I mean, if
All
you're a
I'm
druid,
saying
sure.
is
Sorry, go ahead.
all I'm saying is that there must be more to this place than what we're seeing.
Alright, so, with your survival checks, it takes a long time for you to gather yourselves in such a way that you can find a suitable location to climb. It is quite inhospitable, just in terms of how sheer these rocks are. Because despite the fact that they are piled on top of each other, you can clearly see there are little cracks that it could probably look into. They are tight. Like, even if you squeeze through, you don't know if you could find anything of any actual place to go anywhere. After a little bit of time of exploring those nooks and crannies, you come to the conclusion that there must be, at some point, a way to get up. Because you in particular, Hawks, you know of the story of how Drizdoern and his merry group defeated Akar Kessel long ago on the peak of the mountain. So clearly, there must be a way up. It takes you time, however, as I've said. You go through the motions around 4 to 6 hours, just looking for any particular place to climb up the mountain. Eventually, though, you see something. You see the makings of an abandoned camp near the southmost base of the mountain. Let me tell you what you see. You see 2 tents pitched in the snow near an icy outcropping, which you can assume that might act as a natural windbreaker. Between the tents is an overturned sled. And as you take a look closer, you notice and hear that harnessed to the sled are 5 howling dogs. All of them still stuck to the sled and looking very hungry. You do notice one thing as well. You notice that one of the harnesses is empty.
I've got some bears still.
Are there signs that the dog left where the harness is in any direction?
Indeed, it seems to be pointing. Let's see if I have my directions correct. Seems to be pointing to the southwest. Looks fresh too.
Right, so these dogs are hungry, and it looks like one of them got out. I'd be watching out in that direction to see if one of them comes back, and just in case it tries to get us.
Yeah.
In the
we
meantime,
could
I do have
leave
some
out some-
rations, and you said you had some rations. We could just toss them to the dogs.
Sounds good to me. We could maybe leave some out for the one that went away, and if it comes back, it'll
Right.
eat those and not be so hungry when it finds us.
How many dogs are there, you said?
There are currently 5 dogs. As soon as they kind of take notice to you, they all kind of strain against their harnesses and start barking very loudly. Go ahead and make me an animal handling check.
Okay. I don't think I'm going to use Emboldening Bond quite yet.
Okay,
Duck
3.
is not good with animals.
Yeah, they're
Oh wait, I'm
clearly
sorry.
vicious. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I had assumed that this was like a group check, but if it's not, then I'll.
Uh, this could be like more of an individual and group thing at the same.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends. Okay, 24 and 18. Okay, so Meepo and Savage, you get the impression that these are clearly trained animals. Obviously, they seem, despite their barking, they look friendly. Like they seem like they're struggling, like just to say hi to you. But you can tell they are cold. They look hungry, and look absolutely miserable. Like their fur is slightly matted. They, like I said, you can tell they're hungry by the thinning. You can see their ribs poking out a little bit. It is very hard to look at. They've clearly been here for some time.
I'm going to throw a ration to the side of one of the dogs away from where the other dogs would be able to get it. To where just one of the dogs would be able to reach.
Okay. You toss a little bit, and they all kind of pull at the same time, but the one dog who you were aiming for kind of grabs it, kind of eats it up.
And then I'm going to try to do that. How many rations are we all willing to spare? I have 5 right now.
I have 10 days worth, so
Okay, so
I
we'll
can
take
put 2 or 3 in.
2 from you.
I can honestly just leech off of Bean. I don't need my rations.
Okay.
Also true.
I've got 4 rations that might not be suitable for dogs, and I've got 4 of the bear meat.
Okay, we'll take 1 of the bear meat. And 1
Alright.
from each of you and me. And then 2 from Skanak. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So we're basically spending 5 rations. And doing the same thing where we throw it off to the side so only one of the dogs can get it and try to feed each of them.
Yeah, Skinnock's like, screw that noise, I'm over here. Alright, so you go ahead and feed the dogs, and as soon as you kind of feed them, they take a moment to kind of just kind of like soak in the fact that they are now fed, and they just start just jumping on you, barking and licking your face. They are very happy with you.
You're a big dog. You gotta get off. I can't. Oh.
Oh yeah, these are
Okay.
medium-sized dogs, by the way, so they are dwarfing you in size, and they're just jumping all over you. Oh my god, they're eating her.
Anyone got in a bowl or something we could put water in?
I mean, I've got an S kit.
A helmet you're not using?
I'll lay my shield down and pour some water into it.
Okay.
Okay. They all of them, one by one. Despite their hunger, they are going one at a time. It seems they are very well trained.
Good dogs. Well, now we've got something else that can pull our sled, and we can just have Muerte Blanca free and clear if we need.
Huh. Muerte eyes them.
Free to unleash violence as she so chooses.
Yeah,
On second thought,
you,
might that be?
You do notice that Muerte is sizing up the dogs, and she is making aggressive floofing of her feathers.
I don't know.
Savage, that's your responsibility.
I kind of go up in front of her and wrap her, like, chest area. She'd be like, no. No.
Alright, go make an animal handling check for me. 10. Okay, let me roll a little something. Oh, lucky. she kind of bobs her head over your head three or so times, but you push her back just enough that she gets the idea, and she does not attack the dogs. She rolled a 5.
Nice.
All right.
All right. So we've got the dogs. Right now, that's neither here nor there. Can we get up this way? Does it look like somebody went up that way?
As you're looking beyond where the sled is, there are no tracks to speak of. You gather with how long the dogs had been here, any wind probably would have blown the tracks away by now. But you do notice there is, in fact, a travelable path up along. Let me make a little mark here. Up along this way right here. In fact, actually, let me make that a bit more clear, because it's probably a bit more noticeable if I do. If I can delete that, that would be great. There we go.
Stop. There we go.
There we go. There we go. That's probably more clear. If you head up that way, that is probably a good place to start.
Would we be able to take our sled up? Or is it gonna have to stay down with where the dogs are?
The sled will probably have to stay where the dogs are. It is a bit too much of a perilous climb to bring the sled with you. So we'll have to tie down Muerte somewhere. Or take Muerte with you, but not take the sled. Your choice.
Muerte is definitely a boon to have. And also, I don't think we want to leave her to eat the dogs.
Probably a wise decision.
We can leave Bean down here with the dogs and take some berries with us.
The dog's eye Bean, and Bean, with no eyes, looks back. I just hope they don't use me to mark their territory. Kind of shies away. So, what do you decide?
Well, I think that it makes a lot of sense to take Muerte. I don't necessarily know if there'd be any purpose to leaving Bean behind.
I mean, I could watch the sled, but
Here, maybe we can help. Let's help you up onto a ledge so you can watch it from a higher vantage point, and not have to worry about the dogs.
phew.
Right.
All right.
If you do see somebody doing something with the sled, figure out a way to get the dogs barking at them so we can hear them. Maybe up in the mountain we can hear the dogs baying down here.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, sure, I can do that. Just kind of pick me up. Ah.
Yep, and Hawks will hoist the bush up.
All right, you kind of put him on like a nice little ledge where he's a just high enough where the dogs, you assume, probably wouldn't be able to jump him and get him. All right, I'll keep an eye out and make sure everything is all put together and safe. You can count on me.
Take a handful of snow and sprinkle it on him and be like, there, now you look like you're just a natural part of the scenery.
Oh, clever. He kind of like hunkers down, kind of spreading the snow just enough where it looks like he's just a simple shrubbery coming out of the stone.
He's not just a simple shrubbery coming out of the stone.
Well, it looks like it. He's a master of disguise, didn't you know?
Going to be a master of disguise.
I'm just doing that hand motion. This is what you are doing. This is what I want you to do. Just like the snapping shut of the finger. Anyway, moving on.
Yes, I believe we take the angry bird off of the walrus and lead it carefully up the mountain.
Alrighty. So, you start ascending up the cliffs. Let me just move you guys up around up on here. Indeed. So, you get up to that point. And it takes a couple more hours. At this point, let's see. Yeah, it's around this point. I would say it's about mid-afternoon. As you all are climbing and making your ascent, you hear a singular dog bark. Hoo! 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 It is bounding up towards you from the way that you came from. Kind of look around and try and see the source of it. Go ahead and roll perception for me, all of you, just for fun. Ooh.
Okay.
This dog rolled
Natural 20 on its stealth.
it rolled a 17, which is higher than what you all rolled. So okay, I get to here. Let me roll a. Let's see. I'm gonna roll a d4.
Would it have disadvantage because it's barking?
You would assume so. However, Hawks, you suddenly fall face first, flat in the snow, as suddenly a large dog jumps up from behind and knocks you into the snow, and starts licking the back of your neck.
All right, down, boy, down. Come on.
Does it look like one of the dogs that was already there, or does it look like it might be the one that broke free?
From what you can tell, the others didn't seem to have any sort of identification. This one is different. It has a collar around its neck. It reads out, "Boy."
Boy.
Oh!
That's an easy name to remember.
As soon as you say his name, he barks.
Good boy.
Oh! And he sits.
Come on, get off him.
He stays there
Over
for a
here, boy.
moment, looking at you. But
Come here, boy.
You, Meepo, he jumps off of Hawks and then saunters up to you, wagging his tail.
Good boy. I'll give him part of my ration.
Right, he quickly gobbles it up and he does that thing where he headbutts into your knee, but for you, because you're a smaller creature, it kind of pushes you back a little bit. But he nuzzles very, very heavily into your side.
I suppose he's coming with us.
And as soon as you say that, not even a moment after, he kind of looks up, sniffs. He jumps up about 20 or so feet ahead of you. He just kind of stares at you. And then barks.
Or we're going with him.
He starts wagging his tail. He keeps
Yes,
moving
we
forward.
follow
He keeps
the
moving
giant
forward.
ravenous beast. How hungry does this dog look?
Not as hungry as the others. The others, you gather, were there for a long enough time and probably ate all the rations that were in the sled that they were in a while ago. This one has probably been free for some time. It's probably eaten something along the way. He still looks pretty hungry, though, although the ration probably helped a lot. He still is maintaining a bit of a distance. It seems like he's trying to lead you somewhere, though. He does seem to be occasionally looking back every 5 or so feet, waiting for you to follow. Do
Yes,
you?
we should.
All right. So you choose to follow. And in doing so, I'm taking the clear path with me. He leads you up the path in ways that you had not seen before, making it a bit of an easier climb with some guidance from the dog. It's at this point that you notice that there are some mountain goats blocking your path. Around 4. They bleat at you loudly as you draw near. The howling wind, blowing snow and slippery ice, looks like it'll make the climb treacherous ahead.
Let's see. We do have snowshoes, don't we?
You do.
Yeah, I think we all got some.
Okay. Could I modify the snowshoes to affix something like pythons to them and give us more grip?
That sounds like a clever idea. I would let you do that. Go ahead. Because I think it's pretty clever. Go ahead and give me a, let's see. Use your tinker's tools. Give me a tinker check using intelligence.
Okay. Hey, Hops, can you give me a hand with this real quick? Hold this still.
Yeah, I'll give a hand.
Alright, do so with advantage then. Because you both, I believe, are proficient enough in particular materials like this.
Yeah, I think
I've
Hops
got
has
Smith's tools. Yep.
It should work enough with that. I'll let that I'll let that fly. So go ahead and roll with advantage. 19.
90.
Okay. With a little bit of tinkering, it's a little bit of... if you're walking on normal ground, it would be trickier. But in this particular environment, this is perfect. So, any checks that you make to navigate this particular terrain will be made with advantage. Right? The goats are still in your way, however.
They're not like spooked by the dog?
They seem to give it no mind. The dog, for what he's worth, is barking at them, kind of seemingly annoyed with them, but the goats give it no mind. They just kind of turn slowly, stare at the dog, and just look away.
Ideally, then we can just ignore them? Question mark?
Possibly.
Let's not get too close.
Yeah.
Alright.
Don't want to spook them.
For the sake of this, go ahead and just give me an animal handling check from all of you. This will be a group check. Okay, 4, 20, 6.
Okay, consistently bad at dealing with animals.
And you as well, Hawks?
Yes. It just.
15. Okay, good. With that, and a little bit of help from good old Muerte. Let me roll. Ah, there we go. You managed to convince the goats to move aside. If by just simply using Muerte's a little bit of leverage. Just by her being near, they're like, we choose life, and they start moving away.
Wise
Nice.
choice.
So, now that the goats are out of the way, now we can go ahead and start making either athletics checks or acrobatics checks with advantage to navigate and keep your balance on this treacherous, mountainous terrain.
I'm gonna give us the blessing of Eldath here. To Skunuk, myself, and Fox. It's been a long rest since the hyenas.
It has not been a long rest, no.
Okay. Dunno.
Okay, Manage is definitely helping out here. In the case of Savage. Alright, and you as well, Meepo? Ooh,
That was
very
a
nice.
good advantage.
Most acrobatic cleric you ever seen.
Indeed, and with that, you managed to get Muerte across without too much issue either. Her talons, a natural
Like,
natural python in a way. You all, using yourselves as a linked chain, interlinking your arms with each other, you sidle along the mountainside in such a way that you very cleanly make it to the other side of this treacherous pass without issue. Very well done. The next part of the journey will continue. For this next part of the journey, I need to determine the marching order. Who is in front, who is in the middle, and who is in the back.
Fox will take up the front.
Meepo will
Okay.
go next.
Okay.
I guess then Canuck.
Which means I got the rear.
Alright. With Muerte in tow. Okay, let me double check something. Double check the rules, very particular. Something or other. As you all are making your way along this little shelf, you get a good view of the flatland below. At this point, you are quite high up. Probably, I'd say you're around halfway up the mountain, around 500 or so feet into the air on the mountainside. Let's see here. Now, the map's not quite to scale. The 50 feet wouldn't be accurate. But as you all are making your way up, I would like everyone to make perception checks for me.
Still have emboldening bond as well, so that's nice.
Meepo sees all.
Meepo. Man.
Praise be.
Praise Eldath indeed. Okay.
Anybody hear any dogs?
So, Meepo, Hawks, and Skanak. All of you hear a roar behind the winds of the mountain.
That's not a dog.
Definitely not. And you hear a solid crack on the mountainside, far, far, far above you. And there is a rumble.
That's definitely not a dog.
And at this point, you hear this as well, Savage. As you all look up towards the top of the mountain and see the snow start to shift. The mountain and all of its snow is now hurtling towards you. An avalanche has been caused.
Another one?
Eldath bless us. And I'm gonna bless Savage,
So,
Canuck, and Hawks.
what I need from you all is an initiative roll.
No, I think I'll roll this at second level and just get all four of us. But initiative I can do. Make sure I click the token first.
This music is not doing it for me.
Ooh, I think I can use Blessing of Eldath on that initiative. 6.
Yeah, that'll work.
Suppose I should as well. Which bumps that to
All go up by 2.
7.
Exactly.
Can Bless be used on it too? Attack roll or saving throw.
Specifically, Bless can be used for saving throws and attack rolls.
So no.
Okay, you said the blessing of Eldath, which is not bless or.
Right, I said the Blessing of Eldath and then click Bless. And
And
earlier
earlier I
I
said-
used Emboldening Bond, and I used Emboldening Bond on Skanuk, myself, and Hawks.
Yeah, but you said, I guess I could use the Blessing of Elda for the initiative roll, and you use Bless.
Right. I understand what you're saying now. Yeah, sorry. Bless can't be used on it, but the Emboldening Bond can be.
Yeah, so I'm still at 21.14.
Okay.
I have 22.
So, Avalanche is currently 500 feet above you. Savage. At best as you can tell, the way this avalanche is going, it seems to be around 200 feet wide and 100 feet long. What I need from all of you as you go is to make sure that you clear this avalanche. Otherwise, you will be brought into the valley below and the avalanche taking you with it. So, Savage, what do you do?
Let's see.
Oh, I should probably turn the volume down a little bit.
I think so. For my daily bestial soul, I gain a climbing speed equal to my walking speed, and I can climb difficult surfaces, including upside down on ceilings, without needing to make an ability check.
Okay.
That is pretty useless now that I'm looking at it, since the snow's coming up from above. Can I make a investigation check to see if there's like an outcrop or like a cave that might be around?
Go ahead and make the roll for me.
I have enlarged reduce, so if there's one that's not quite big enough but could work, I might be able to make it bigger. I don't know.
A little bit of snow gets in your eye, Savage. Ah!
My good eye. Ah.
Unfortunately, due to the stress of the situation, you do not currently see anything close by enough to suit what you're looking for.
Alright, I'll end my turn there.
Okay.
Did you move?
Move where? 500 feet down?
So, to keep in mind, it is around 100 feet long, this avalanche, as best as you can tell, so you need to move as a group at least 100 feet to get clear of the avalanche's path.
Well, if I dashed, I could move 80 feet. So whatever direction we want to go.
Okay.
It's 100 feet
direction does-
across, so from left to right, is that what you're saying?
From left to right, yes.
Are we in the middle of it?
Right now, you are around in the middle of it, yes.
Okay, so it's like 50 feet either way.
I think
Or
the
is it 100
implication
feet
was
to
that we'd
either
have to
side?
move 100 feet.
Okay,
in
Yeah,
so
either
it's
like
like
direction.
200 feet wide.
Sorry, that's my miscommunication on my part. My apologies.
I was double checking that before we made a bunch of crucial decisions based on misunderstanding.
Okay, so as Savage moves forward, moving 40 feet, Skanuk.
do I see any like do I see any outcroppings or boulders or that could like divert the flow if I made them larger, or perhaps like create a redirect that it would follow if I made them smaller?
Now there's a question. Go ahead and roll me investigation as well.
Yeah.
A lot of creativity this session. I'm digging it. Not that you weren't creative before, but I'm really seeing it. Ooh!
Oh, nice.
23.
23. So, quickly, look scanning around, adrenaline pumping. You see a little ways, probably around maybe 20 feet to your north, heading towards the avalanche. It was difficult to see at first because all the snow was covering it, but there is in fact around a medium-sized, like probably double your size stone boulder that is currently just kind of slanting towards your direction. That could be a suitable target.
And if I made it a large thing, it would sort of I guess create a pocket of safe space.
It's possible. With your investigation and just thinking it all together, you still would probably need to make some checks to make sure you all would, because, despite there would be a pocket of safety, there is still a lot of snow rushing past you. But with the cover, such checks would be made with advantage.
Right.
But it would definitely help you out if you don't believe that you could get everyone across in time.
100 feet. Would need to be at least 2 rounds.
The avalanche is moving pretty fast as well.
I don't know how fast avalanches move, but I think my gut is telling me my gut is telling me cover because I don't have an increased movement like barbarians
Right.
do.
Because you had that thought in mind, I'll let this check, a nature check, be a bonus action for you, just so you'll have that, with that thought in mind. Because you've been in Icewind Dale for a while, you might have a little bit of survival nature. Okay. Given how fast, yeah, very very high actually. Given how fast this avalanche is moving, you gather it'll probably move around. Let me see here. Around 300 feet. However, it's moving in such a way, it'll probably move 300 feet. And this is a bit more meta knowledge here, but you gather it'll move 300 feet on initiative count 10, and another 300 on initiative count 0. It is 500 feet above you now.
Oh, so we only have one turn before it hits us.
With that check, yes.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to use Enlarge Reduce and take cover.
Okay. You use a little bit. Tell me, how would you like to enlarge the boulder? Let me say.
Let's see. Canuck is going to. He's going to load a sort of glowing, sparking thing. It's glowing a bit too brightly to catch exactly what it looks like underneath the light, but he's going to load it onto his gun, onto sort of like one of those rifle grenades from the First World War,
Yeah.
or Second World War. And he's going to fire it at the boulder, and it's going to expand into this glowing orange net that falls over the boulder, and then it expands significantly as the net wraps over it.
And as such it does, giving a little bit of a nudge to all the other individuals. Hey, this is perfect to hide behind. Maybe you should do that. So, you can use your movement to get up there easily, if you so wish.
Yeah, I will be doing that because yeep.
Very good. All right, that is your turn. And on your turn, and on initiative count 10, the avalanche rumbles ever closer. It is now merely 200 feet above you and closing in fast.
Okay. So, seeing that Skanuk has taken shelter, does Savage look like he's going to make it with his big movement he did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I am... And would I have room to run if I went large?
I'd say yes.
Ugh. Okay. So what I'm going to do then is I am going to use my bonus action for my Giant's Might.
Okay.
I am going to
What?
Action Surge and Double Dash. And potentially, if you'll allow me, I'd like to try to scoop up Meepo. Just under an arm and run with her.
Sure, I'll let you do that.
Alright. So then I'm going to head in the direction we were going.
Okay. Heading across the valley there.
So I have base 30 feet movement, and I'm double dashing.
Okay. Meepo.
So that's his turn is done.
His turn is done.
Okay, so I've been scooped up by him, right?
Correct.
And he's leaving out of the range of it.
You get the sense that he might still be within the range slightly of it. But far enough away from the center, he'll probably have a better chance. Kick the baby.
Heat the cleric, he says.
Yeah, he could easily throw you 10 feet.
As I've been picked up and carried, I kind of like, come here, boy, get out of the snow, come on, quick.
For the sake of this, I'm having the animals kind of go with you.
Right. And I'm going to.
I'll say
Let's-
Hawk's grabbed boy as well, since he
Right.
was about bit smaller.
So, right. Once we get out of the snow, we gotta make sure we get back, and so we can unbury Skanuk, because I think he'll be stuck there for a while if we don't.
Speaking of things, I rolled initiative on the side for. Hang on, for Muerte. She would have actually. Okay. So Savage, behind you, you hear a honk as you are yeeted upward into the air and land on Muerte's back, because she has 50 movement speed normally, which goes to 100, getting you completely clear.
Axe Speak just thunders past.
Exactly.
I suppose I'll hold my action to jump from Hawks' arms as far as I can once we get to the edge of where the snow is, so that I can get out of the range of the avalanche.
You already there?
Well, he's almost out, but I'm not quite that far. So he's carried me most of the way out, but I'm holding my action to jump the rest of the way. Is that right, Evan?
That's about right, yes.
Okay, yeah. So that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. And now the time of judgment has come. The avalanche roars past you. Skinnock, you cling tightly to the netting that is surrounding the enlarged stone. I need you to make a strength saving throw with advantage.
And you have bless, so you
And
can.
you have bless.
I have blessed. Does embolden work on saving throws?
That's a good
Yeah.
question.
I think it does. Uh,
Yes, it's just strictly better than bless, except that it can also stack with it. That's glorious.
Peace clerics.
Glorious.
Okay. You hold on for dear life as the very mountain itself seems to be trying to scream past you and bring you down with it. But you hold on to the magic of your spell. It is an agonizing series of moments. And you, Savage, you're fine as Mert has scooped you up. Meepo, as the avalanche clears past you, you jump the necessary remaining distance. Hawks, Hagnar, I need you to also make a strength saving throw, with advantage because of your size. That is more than enough. As
Yup.
the avalanche comes careening past you, you stare down the mountain. As the avalanche hits you full force, Hawks, you are enveloped by the snow. Hippo, Savage, you gaze in horror as the avalanche envelops Hawks entirely. You can no longer see him. But as the moments pass, the avalanche careens down the side of the mountain. And you, Hawks, and you as well, Skinnock, come out completely unscathed. With the might of giants, Hawks, you have bested the might of the avalanche, and with your ingenuity, Skinnock, you as well have beaten the mountain at its own game. Or whatever it was that made that terrifying roar. And so initiative has come to an end, and you are all safe on the other side.
was there something about a Yeti somebody was talking about the other day?
Uh,
That
an alpha yeti that was bigger and more terrible than the rest of them.
right? Did that sound like a big and terrible Yeti? Or did that sound like a dragon? Or was that something else?
You have faced Yetis before. That sounded... It was very faint, but you... With your natural 20 before, Meepo, it sounded very similar. The more aggressive, filled with rage. I'm loving the Skinnock commentary on the side.
Scanuck, you may want to calm down a little. We just had an avalanche. I don't think it's unlikely that another one could happen.
I'll get my vengeance yet.
Right.
Skinnock, hater of winter.
Well, assuming that was the big yeti up there, we might actually get our chance for revenge a lot sooner than we expected.
What do we know about Yetis? They're big and they're hairy. And they're cold.
When we fought the ones last time, they seemed to be able to... I don't know, they seem to have an effect on some of you.
Right. They don't like being set on fire like Scanuck says. That's true. And yeah, we were kind of... I think before we get in there, when when we think we're about to come upon it, I ought to do something to help us. I think I have a spell that can help us against being terrified by that thing. Yes, I do.
I had to find the very specific thing. All right, so you all continue your journey up the mountain. And Boy starts leading you up a very narrow trench in the cairn, where two large stones seem to part, giving you an entryway deeper into the mountain. As you venture forth for another hour, Boy starts to bark. It seems that he has caught the scent of something. And he starts bounding away, out of sight. As you follow him, you go around the corner of a large boulder, and you see deep within the trench of the mountain, you see, lying face down in the snow, barely conscious, is a humanoid in blood-stained, cold weather clothing. And I will change the map.
He's alive, he said?
Barely, as best as you can tell. You see his eyes are open, but he is not moving.
Should I heal him? I think I should. Do you have anything besides my spells that we can use to heal him?
You see the dog starts licking the man's face, and the man does not... You can see his mouth open, but you hear no words as he does not even have the strength to reach his arm up to pet the dog.
I mean, I also have spells that can heal.
Maybe you
Do you
should
still
use
have
it.
one of those good berries?
I have
Did you s-
one, I think.
I've got one. He can have mine. Okay.
All right, so
Yes,
I
give
assume
him
you
my
all
good
head
berry.
up towards that location?
Right. I'm gonna keep an eye out for the Yeti as we're moving. Can I do like a medicine check to see how he's doing and see what we can do to help?
Sure, go ahead and give me a medicine check.
How long has it been since the avalanche started?
At this point, it's probably been an hour. I believe
Okay,
I
so
said an
welcome
hour.
bonds off.
Yeah, no more bond.
Emboldening bond.
Medicine.
Glorious emboldening bond.
What a wonderful thing.
That sucks.
7. At the very least, you know that he looks completely exhausted. You don't know the extent of how long he's been there or how, if the wound is infected or not, but it's clear that there has been a terrible slashing wound against his abdomen, but that's as much as you can infer. Clearly, though, he has been here for a long time. It is a
Alright, here,
miracle that he's even survived this long.
take this good berry. Chew it carefully.
He cannot even chew it himself, and you have to
I'm gonna like
use your hand.
use his
Yeah, you have to use your hand to motion his jaw, to nudge it up and down so he can chew it. It seems to superficially heal some of his wounds, but he still does not have the strength to stand. But it does heal him for 1 hit point. So we'll mark that down.
Ah, so he wasn't like unconscious, he was just badly injured and cold.
Still very, very... In terms of meta, well, no, he rolled a 7. You don't know how exhausted he is, but he clearly has some exhaustion levels.
Makes sense.
He
One
cannot
sleepy
stand,
boy.
however.
We could like.
Can we get Morte over here?
Huh.
Savage, you think Morte will let us put something on her?
I guess we could try.
Pardon me, sorry. What did you wish to attempt, Meepo?
We're gonna try to get the guy onto Morte's back
Okay, go ahead.
that
Just
we don't
give
carry
me
him.
another medicine check with advantage because people are helping you to make sure you don't worsen the wound as you put him up there.
Advantage. Medicine.
Okay, 21.
That's better.
Much better. This time, you managed to move him in such a way that he can very gently be placed on Muerte's back, leaning him kind of like has the arm kind of tucked tightly within the rein so that he doesn't move his arms wildly and break them. With that check, this time you can at least determine, in terms of meta, he has at least 4 levels of exhaustion. He has been out here for a long time. He cannot speak, probably due to some sort of just not having any food for a while. You can clearly tell he hasn't eaten as well, but he is just too tired to speak. If he had some time to rest, probably he could find the strength again.
Well, is there any chance that we could get a rest in here if he needs to rest before he can move around and stuff?
He'd need a long rest, wouldn't he?
At this point in time, it's actually quite close to time for a long rest. You
Okay.
could do so.
I say we set up camp here, try to cozy up to the wall against here, and make sure we get the wind off of us and stay warm.
Sorry, 1 second. I will be right back. Go ahead and discuss amongst yourselves. I need to turn down the AC. It is very hot in here. I'll be right back.
I'm wondering if like we could set up some sort of like camouflage with the snow on the ground, make it harder for
If
this
we just cover
Yeti.
the tent with snow,
Yeah.
it should help a little.
I think that this is going to be tricky because if it does interrupt our rest, we're going to be in a really bad situation.
Yeah.
But we kind of need a rest in general.
Is anybody
I'm-
injured?
I wonder. I am not. I wonder how long it would take to get down the mountain again.
A long time. Probably around a full day at least.
Okay.
And now back.
Is anybody besides Skinnock and I injured? Because I don't think I remember anybody getting injured since yesterday.
Nope. No one's
I
hurt.
am perfectly fine.
It's mostly just resources that have been burned in the trials.
Yeah.
I think, if nothing else, I'm gonna at least heal him a little bit more. Just
Okay, sure thing. Let's go ahead and see how much you heal him for. Okay,
That's the
6
worst.
points. That is... Okay. You can tell now that the wound that he sustained from whatever beast clawed him is now nearly fully healed. It still has a few scratches and scars, but whatever wounds, medical wounds that he's sustained are now healed. Now it's just a matter of the exhaustion.
right. We definitely ought to get to sleep. If nothing else, at least let him sleep.
Yeah. Now that you've tended to his wounds a little bit, you can clearly tell that this is a human male, approximately maybe probably in his late 20s or early 30s. Short cropped brown hair, palish skin, a little bit pinkish around the. Well, considering now, because he's been in the snow for who knows how long, frostbite is starting to settle in. His nose is very red. But other than that, besides that, is seemingly a very healthy individual. Probably is someone who is a scout for a living, given his gear.
Can we move him over to here, in between the rock and the cliff?
Sure thing. Are you doing this
And
in
the dog-
intent to hide him?
We're doing it both in attempts to hide him and to keep him out of the wind, and moving the dog next to him to keep him warm.
Okay. I will
And then we're
say,
gonna set up our tent around that area and then cover that with snow.
okay, go ahead. I suppose this will just be a stealth check in terms of helping this individual. So I will say, because this will be a group effort, anyone who wants to can make a stealth check with advantage.
Oh, with advantage.
Oh,
Yes.
Then I will roll that again.
Okay. Ooh,
Ooh, spicy.
very spicy.
It was your idea to cover it with snow.
Okay. So, even Muerte herself, given the nat 20, your nat 20s are really helping out Muerte, let me tell you. As a natural 20 is 2 successes in terms of a group stealth check. Because of her albino nature, she blends in pretty well with the snow. And the question is, if she sees something, will she stay still enough? That remains to be seen. But, for the most part, you all are all very well hidden. I think I have the audio a bit too high. There we go. So, you all begin to rest.
one thing Snuck would like to do as part of this process
Mm-hmm.
is I want to repeat the trick I used with Arveatrace and pour some vinegar in spots, not near our tent, but like spots a little bit away from us, like in the sort of the edges of the map.
Gotcha. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. It's very smart. You're a smart cookie. All right. No check needed. I'll say this. I'll say this is part of the stealth check, as part of your nat 20. I'll kind of consider this part of that, given the ingenuity of it. So you sprinkle some vinegar in disparate parts of the surrounding area, in the hopes that it will throw off any predator's scent, or at least attempting to throw off the scent of blood in the air, given the injured party. So, you will begin to tuck in to a night's sleep. However, it seems that you are not alone in the mountain pass. For anyone who would be up at the time, they would notice 2 feline creatures with weirdly chiseled and immaculate faces, kind of resembling that of people in a way, but still having a cat-like veneer. These creatures, on all fours, meander along the sides of the cliffs, sniffing. They gaze out across the cliff, eyes panning, seemingly not noticing you. They meander for a bit longer, but they clearly catch the scent of something that they do not like, and start scampering away towards the north, towards the top of the mountain. And then the day comes, and you finish your long rest. And as such, the individual gains just enough strength to be able to stand let me double check the exhaustion actually. Make sure I'm getting this correctly. Exhaustion is always one of those things I'm not always 100% sure of at the moment. Okay, so technically it would have been 5 levels of exhaustion. Okay, so he has gone down 1. Now he is able to stand. And he looks towards you all, and very weakly says, "Thank you. You saved me. I thought I was a goner. Oh boy." He kind of looks towards the dog. "Did you bring them to me? Oh, you're such a good dog. Oh, what would I do without you?" He just starts hugging the dog, and the dog just starts licking his face.
Clearly, this man has his priorities in order. I like it.
Indeed, he's a dog person.
Yep. Excellent.
And all of you, though my dog led you to me, you at least took up the challenge. How did you find? What even brought you up to the mountain?
Sightseeing. Which is, I think, literally true.
Well, lucky me then. Thank good. Luck would have it that you found me when you did. Oh, he kind of just like looks towards the sky. Oh, sightseeing. Huh. Just kind of chuckles to himself very weakly.
Calm down, calm down. Don't talk too much. You've had quite the ordeal up here.
I sure have. Look, I know you've already saved my life, and I have no right to make any other requests, but I must ask you something. I need your help. I came up this mountain on an expedition. I came up here with 3 people. A Goliath by the name of Makingo Growling Bear Akanathi. A halfling by the name of Perla Fishfinger. And a tiefling by the name of Asterix. We were heading up the mountain in search of someone who had supposedly gone missing. But it turns out the person we were searching for was already killed by the Eddies who claimed the mountain. A male, a female, and their offspring. I got separated. I held off the male while the rest of the party fled up the mountain. I don't know what's become of them. I don't suppose you could help me find them?
Well, what you need to do is you need to rest. We can look for them, but you've got to find your way back down eventually, and you can't do that in this condition.
No, it's my responsibility. I brought them up here. I have to bring them down. He kind of like...
You're just going to be a liability the way you are.
Alright, I need you to make a persuasion check, Meepo.
Tell you what, we can bring them here, and then we all can bring them down.
Should I do that with advantage?
Go ahead. Savage. Okay, 23. Very good. That advantage was very helpful.
I kind of just like hold my hand out to Savage for a second.
So,
Go ahead.
his demeanor kind of shifts downward. You're right.
You've done your job. You kept them safe.
You're right. A fool I was. Thinking I could go with you in my condition. No, you're right. Yeah. Boy will be my prediction. I'll head down the mountain. I'll wait for you though. I think. Did you see my dogs? Are they still down there? Are they okay?
They're down there. We fed them, and we've got someone down there watching them.
A great look of relief passes over his face. Oh,
It's
thank you.
not gonna be too much help in the watch, but keeping an eye on them at least. One of our weaker party members. Super helpful, but not as skilled as us.
Well. I can only thank the stars so much that you're so helpful. I never
Well, thank
thought
Eldath.
I thank Eldath indeed. Gotta be honest, I never thought I'd be helped by a bunch of kobolds, but yeah, I'll be damned if I'll shy away any help at all. He kind of gets up, starts dusting himself off. Come on, boy. And kind of starts heading up, but then he pauses for a minute. There is actually something you should know. I don't know how they didn't see me, but I saw a group of grey dwarves heading to the northwest. Oh, sorry, no, the northeast. Sorry, my head's a little fuzzy. In the northeast of
That's
the
all.
cairn.
Sorry.
A whole group of them. They're carrying something in their bags. I didn't see what it was, but whatever it was, they were holding whole sacks of it. I saw there was a heavily armored one among them. He had a sled driven by an ogre. At least I think it was. I don't know if it was fully alive or not. There were bits of flesh falling off of it. It was. I don't know how they didn't see me, but it was a right scary bunch of individuals, let me tell you.
Thank you for the warning. Do be careful, there are some crag cats up here too.
He kind of gets a look on his face. Well, thankfully, kind of sniffs. I see somebody has a little bit of knowledge of nature. A little bit. Do I sense another survivalist among you? A little bit of vinegar in the area? Can smell it from here, even above all the wind and blowing.
Right, that's our artificer. He sure does like his vinegar.
Kind of stifles a laugh. He kind of hobbles over to you, Skunk, and puts a hand on your shoulder. Some smart thinking, lad. You got a good head on your shoulders. Oh, I didn't even introduce myself. My name's Garrett Velrin. I'm a scout from Targos. Make my living helping people in the Dale, getting their bearings. I have my partner live up there. He's a bit of a scrimshaw. I'm sure he'll be happy to see me home. Well, I best be off then. You lot stay safe. And he starts walking with boy towards the base of the mountain. So, with that knowledge, I assume you wish to climb up the mountain and continue your journey.
Guess we got it now.
Very good.
I love this little procession and just giant hawks.
Well, at this point he will be shrunken back down, but
I know, but I like the I like the image of it.
Yeah,
Hawk says, "Go big or go home."
Exactly. In fact, you know what? Hold on. Let me Indiana Jones this a little bit. Hang on. Let me pick a little. There you go. Little journey up there. There you go. You start making your way further up the mountain. There you go. And you get to a sheer cliff face. To go further, you will need to climb your way up.
How many pythons we got?
How many pythons do you have?
Let's see. How many do you think that we would have used for the shoe upgrade?
Let's see. I'd say probably would have been around maybe 2 pythons per person.
So 8 total.
8 total.
How many pythons was who had pythons?
I have 3. Or had 3.
Anyone else?
I had crossbow bolts.
I will say, if you want to remove the pythons and possibly use them, I will let you make another tinkering check. However, this will be a bit more difficult as to not damage them.
I would say we ought to at least have a couple of the pythons set up. What we could do is does somebody, Savage, you're able to climb, right?
Yeah, I don't need those pythons anymore.
Right. So could you just you take the 3 pythons we have left over and climb up and run the rope through them?
Well, I also would have had if Ox has 3, I would have used 8 for all of us, so I would have 2 left.
So we have
So we
5.
probably have 5 total.
Okay.
Then we could be able to use it like a kind of a ladder, sort of.
Yeah, I would say with 5 pythons, it's not terribly high. Like, it's mostly the fact that it's a bit of a difficult climb more so than anything. I would say if you use the remaining 5 pythons, you could do it.
We'll have to look at like fashioning more out of crossbow bolts or something.
I've got plenty of them.
Yeah,
I've never used them.
Yeah. All right. Sounds like
They're
a plan.
I mostly think of them as like a quick delivery system.
All right, so
People's special delivery.
Savage.
Here's a note.
Savage, I assume you, with your ability, climb your way up.
Have a spell scroll.
Yes.
Very well. So, Savage, using your bestial abilities, your nails begin to elongate, and so do the talons of your feet. You climb your way up to the top, with the rope behind you, putting in pythons along the way and tying the rope to them, giving a nice solid grasp to make sure those that are coming up will have advantage on their athletics checks to climb up. So you make your way to the top with no issue. The rest of you, as you go up, need to make athletics checks. And this will also be very difficult for Muerte, I will say, because she does not have hands.
Doesn't need hands. You can just like embed her beak into the ice and then scrabble up and then embed her beak into
I'm
the
gonna
ice.
use Emboldening Bond
Like a
Given that
turtle.
she's Rage Incarnate, that might be her only
On-
saving grace here.
on Muerte, myself, and Skinak.
Is there any way we could potentially get a rope around her and like hoist her up?
No need, as she rolled very high, and you. But as you're all having this discussion, okay, well, how are you're going over the logistics of how you're going to bring Muerte up this sheer cliff face, and then you just hear, huh, and you look up, Muerte's already at the top.
Muerte is a
never felt
bird.
this
Maybe
terror.
she can fly.
I have never felt such terror. So, if she can fly, then if we can make the cart wait.
Savage, you're the only one
And
who
your
can see this because
flying
you're at the top.
machines.
You watched as Muerte just simply leapt from, like a mountain goat, she leapt from stone to stone, leaping her way up the top of the cliff face.
What type of check did you say it was?
Athletics check. With advantage because of the rope.
Okay, that's good.
Muerte Blanca, Muerte Blanca. Just the theme just comes into your head. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Yeah, with all the checks done here, you make your way up in record time. Like, it doesn't even take you 20 minutes. Despite the fact that how high it takes you a very short amount of time to climb your way up. Clearly, Savage did an excellent job of making sure it was a very easy climb.
I could have done it with 2 hands tied behind my back.
Indeed, you
Luckily,
could
you
have.
didn't. And luckily, when you climbed up, you left little imprints where your hands were. That kind of helped give us a handhold as well as the rope.
Very well. So, with that challenge done, the climb continues. Closer towards the peak of the mountain. Before you get to the peak, you stumble across something. And I will move you to another map. And I also need to put... Okay, not boy, because he's not here. Huerte needs to be with you.
I'm assuming it's been about 10 minutes.
About 10 minutes, yeah.
Right, and building bonds done then.
Oh, that's ominous.
Indeed it is. As up ahead on your left is a 15-foot high, 10-foot wide cave mouth. The first thing you immediately notice besides that is that there is blood on the snow, some distance from the cave entrance, being dragged inside.
Going to go ahead and use another use of emboldening bonds then.
How far into the cave can we see?
Well, because of your Kobold dark vision, you can actually see quite far. So let me go ahead and reveal what you see just from the cave entrance. Let's see, from your angle, you probably see...
Only discern shades of gray, which honestly, in this situation, is not all that.
So, you would see a few things. Namely, hang on, double check here, because I need to look at what you see here. So, immediately in front of you, this cave, from what you can tell, has a 20-foot high concave roof. Most of the floor has fallen away, forming a chasm, which you see in the center, which is that big black hole in front of you. From this angle, I'd say if you get a little bit closer, like maybe like 15 feet closer, you could tell that the chasm is around 80 feet deep. And all that's left of the floor is a rocky ledge connecting the area to your immediate left, to your immediate right, and then to your immediate left, there's a 1-foot thick sheet of ice that's spanning the southern part of this chasm, which has another hole to its side, which I will reveal now. Well, that is what you see from your current angle.
Kanaka's gonna creep forward to see if he can look around the corner a little bit.
Alright. Alrighty. So, we'll reveal a little bit more. Oh. I need to reveal a little bit more than that. Quite a lot more than that. There we go. That is the rocky, very unstable bridge that you see that I mentioned to your right. Which, as you can now see a little bit further into the cave, you now see where there is the blood splatter is heading towards. And you also see a rib cage with no skull attached to it, or limbs at all.
Is it humanoid?
It is definitely humanoid.
That's unfortunate. Kanaka's gonna, I guess, creep around the corner. Sneaky as can be.
Okay. All right,
Do I
Hawks.
see anything across this ice here?
Sure you do. As you're making your way that way, you can see the ice sheet gives way to a very narrow tunnel. For a medium creature, it would be a squeeze, but for you as a kobold, no problem.
Well, the problem is getting across the ice sheet with the
Well, that is a
chasms
problem,
on
but the
either
tunnel
side.
itself is not a problem.
Can I climb across the wall?
You could.
I'm gonna do that.
Gecko Savage.
Just sideways on the wall. Everybody just kind of watches.
All right. As you scamper your way along the chasm wall, you easily make your way across there. So Hawks, if you want to maneuver your way on that ice, I'm gonna need you to make an acrobatics check for me.
I've given you emboldening bond. You, me, and Skinnuk.
feet up to your strength score if you move these 10 feet immediately for the jump. Okay, so
Man,
I
got
can't
like
jump that.
4 people with.
You said in acrobatics?
Acrobatics, yes.
Hmm. Is there any way I could potentially grab a pair of my javelins and use them like ski poles to help keep myself stable?
Maybe
Man, I am loving the ideas you're coming up with this session. There's so much
This is
kobold
Kobold
ingenuity.
ingenuity at the top.
Yep.
Oh my god.
And we never took those pythons off of our snowshoes.
That's true, you did. This is more of a matter of before it was a matter of keeping your grip. This is more of a matter of not cracking the ice and slipping.
Oh,
Using the javelins to spread out your weight, though, would help.
Yes, that is what he's trying to do, which I will
Yeah.
allow to give you advantage.
Alright, because I am not the best at acrobatics.
Ooh.
Oh,
Okay.
you also have emboldening bond. So
Alright, so
8.
that goes up to 8.
Okay. You fall prone on the ice sheet, dealing. Let's see. I'm going to not say how much damage that is, but you notice that the ice sheet below you starts to crack. You get about to here, not very far. You're going to need to make another check with advantage if you want to continue forward.
Well, I don't want to leave Savage on his own. So I'm gonna try it again.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna do a little
18.
better this time.
This time, you were able to make it across fully. But you do notice that if you're going to repeat the journey across, it might be a bit more hazardous, as the ice is cracked a little bit.
Hmm.
While you two are doing that, Meepo and Skanuk, you're going this way, correct?
Well, I'm trying to kind of keep my distance equally between them because my emboldening bond's only going to work so far.
I'd probably, if there's like a smaller way to go that's less likely to have yetis, if Skunnock notices that, then he'd probably be more invested in exploring that area.
In that case, do you all decide to head the same way everyone else is going then?
I think, yeah.
Okay. In that case, I will have you make similar checks, acrobatics checks.
If it's all right,
Mhm.
I would like to make a nature check first.
Sure, go ahead. What would you like to do with this nature check?
I would like to, I guess, roll for Skunnock to know the trick to crossing ice safely, which in real life is to spread eagle on it and just slide
That's what I
across.
was going to say, but that's smart to do the check first.
Okay. 19. With that, pretty much what was mentioned. Spreading eagle, making sure you spread your weight evenly. Now, you are carrying somewhat of a weight of equipment with you. As long as you keep yourself relatively flat, you can get yourself across without too much of an issue. The problem is it'll take time. That's the only thing it'll do. So if you'd like to do that, you certainly can.
Yeah, I'll penguin across.
Okay. Takes you around 15 minutes or so. It's a painstaking, agonizing process. As you make your way slowly across, the ice cracks ever so slightly. But you spread your weight enough that it's not an issue. Meepo, make a perception check for me. And as you make that perception check, I'm going to reveal what Savage will see up ahead.
Oh, I don't know why I had advantage, but it was the same.
16, that'll do it. That'll do it. So from your current angle, you can see that the cavern starts to widen out a bit, Savage, but you can't, that's all you can see from your current angle. You have to get a little bit further out to see further in. Meepo, you hear far in the distance a very similar roar that you heard before the avalanche.
Outside or inside?
Outside.
Oh,
Marte, of course, is kind of like, just like, huh? Huh? Just like kind of scanning around, looking for threats. You don't think it is close by necessarily, but spending more time will probably let it get closer. Okay.
14 feet. So I'm going to move 5 feet out onto it and then jump.
Okay. I'm going to need you to make an acrobatics check for me.
Guess Canuck like try to help catch her as she flies towards it.
Well,
No, he wouldn't. He
well,
wouldn't. He would just stand there in shock.
well, thankfully, Meepo, you glide a little bit before taking off, and even though the ice cracks only slightly, you manage to land on the other side.
Luckily, we're real light.
Murti, of course, looks by you, huh, kind of pecking at the ice a little bit.
Morte,
Huh.
you want to wait for us to get through here a little bit before we try to cross?
Also, for some reason, I have Morte's health lower than it should be. She should be at full health. She kind of tilts her head at you, not understanding what you're saying.
I'm just like holding my hands out.
Make an animal handling check for me. Okay. Huh. She starts to walk across the ice.
Okay.
Acrobatics check for Marte.
Just gonna break
Oh,
the
no.
ice. Or slip and fall.
Natural
Never.
20.
Or do that. I don't know what I was so concerned about. This is Morte we're talking about.
Now, the problem is, you guys can fit in, no problem. Muerte cannot.
She can squeeze.
It's a squeeze for a medium creature.
Ah.
She tries to wriggle her way in, as her head gets stuck.
Alright. We'll help you in a bit.
Savage, you bird.
Wait. I've got an idea. Canuck. You've
What?
got
Yeah.
that spell you used on that rock, right? Does it go the other way?
It does.
Oh.
Well, alright. Alright, let's do this. Yes. Well, I will cast Enlarge Reduce on Muerte Blanco.
She shrinks in size. And is
Aw.
still rideable by one of you because she's a medium
She's
creature.
cute.
The eyes turn red. With bloodlust.
In a terrifying way.
Huh. But that does mean now she is able to fit inside that little tunnel. And now,
Large Dude's getting its workout today.
It's getting a lot of work out today. You get to see the rest of the cavern. So, you notice quite a few things. The floor of this cave is 5 feet higher than the other area. It has uneven ceilings that range in height from 10 to 20 feet. The floor drops off sharply from where you are, kind of like in a 10-foot high ledge overlooking the entrance to this tunnel. The cave contains a very strange sight. You see the corpse of a female adult Yeti. You also see the body of a halfling woman. Against the wall, you see the shattered remains of a dog sled, a mess kit, an explorer's pack, and enough blood-spattered heavy clothing, probably enough to make 2 cold weather outfits, do you imagine? And a few other crates. What's your guys' passive perception?
Lux is actually not that hot. I think. 14.
14, okay.
12.
Okay, well then, in that case, all of you would be able to see this. In one of the crates, you see that it is shaking. You see the lid kind of quivering up and down. You see for a minute a pair of beady black eyes staring out from the crate before the lid comes clattering down. As you see, a tiny Yeti-like creature, probably no more... Actually, hold on, let me double check the size. Oh, actually, around your size, actually. As its tiny little horns, probably just like so small compared to its adult size. And big, fluffy white ears as it kind of peeks out from the crate. As soon as it sees you again, the lid clatters down again. Yeah, I know, Steven. It was meant to be on the token layer because your passive perception was, in fact, high enough.
Okay.
At this point, you gather as well that this tunnel over here probably leads back around. There is another thing that you notice. Along one of the along one of the farther walls to the north, right next to the corpse of the adult female Yeti, you see a familiar substance. The black ice that you had seen the Duergar carrying in their sacks. A pile of it is up against the wall. Didn't we bury that, Meepo says. Well, if you recall, while it is not necessarily a common material, the black ice that you found is not the only source of it in Icewind Dale. And no doubt, there are other deposits of it throughout all of the tundra. So, how do you all proceed from here?
Slaughter the babies before the male gets here.
I think that's kind of rude. We should raise it up and make it one of our friends like we did with the mummy.
The thing is, we're kind of stuck in an in-between place on this one, right? These Yetis are very clearly creatures that have some of the Frost Maiden's influence.
That's true.
So it's hard to say if we could or not. Obviously,
Are
we.
Yetis people?
In Forgotten Realms, go ahead and make me just nature checks or history checks, your choice.
History is
Goodness, Meepo.
Amorous. thing. Or Yeti's people.
Yetis
And
aren't
Yeti is for
people.
people.
15, 12, 7, 20. For most of you, as far as stories go, Yetis tend to hunt in solitude or in small family groups. Yetis are well known as creatures that are feral hunters. Many stories tell of their profound cruelty. Whether that's true or not, there is far more evidence to suggest that is the case. But no one that you know of has tried to raise a Yeti on their own to see if that savage nature can in fact be controlled. Now you know for a fact, with that check, Meepo, that Yetis do in fact have their own language. So they are intelligent enough to form language. So if they are intelligent enough to do so, it may in fact be possible to raise a Yeti to possibly go against that evil nature.
The
Possibly.
way I see it is, if we can have Muerte Blanca on our side, a Yeti shouldn't be that much harder.
Huh.
Especially if we're raising it from a baby.
You catch the Yeti. With that check, you know that the young of the Yeti are called tykes. The Yeti tyke slowly lifts up the lid of the crate and just kind of blinks at you with those large, beady black eyes. There's his little mewling.
Hawks will take out one of his bear meat rations and maybe clamber down here if he can. And hold it out and see if he can get the Yeti to approach. He's not going to go much closer than this,
Okay.
but he'll see if he can get it interested and curious.
All right. It kind of goes up to the corpse of assumedly its mother, and goes beneath, kind of like nestles underneath, like where the claw would be, and kind of like puts where the hand on top of its head and kind of hisses. Go ahead and make either a persuasion or an animal handling check for me.
Let's double check. I'm not very good at either of those things, but I'm better at animal handling than persuasion, so we'll go with that.
4.
Nope.
All right. Let me double check something real quick. All right. All right. The creature growls at you and lunges forward and kind of like bats you on the side, but your armor is of course too heavy for it to get a sizable hit, and it kind of like grabs the bear meat and just kind of like rushes back towards its mother's corpse and just kind of like nestles into the fur and just kind of starts eating the bear meat while it's keeping eye contact with you.
Well, at least it took the food, right? Let's take a look at what else is around here, and maybe we can,
Right, I think we ought to make sure we have the personal effects of whoever this is.
Yeah.
I think it's probably one of that
I do.
scout's friends.
Yeah, given the size of the body, it seems about halfling sized. You might be able to assume that this is the halfling woman that was with him. One of the
Can I-
party.
tell what killed the Yeti?
Sure, go ahead and make a medicine check.
At least doing that, I think Skinnup would be like looting what he can from the pack and the traps.
Sure, sure. Let me also reveal the other edge of the cavern as well, because it's a little bit. There we go. Okay. 21. Let's start with the
Loot.
medicine check. Man, a lot of natural 20s today. It's very nice. So, 21 medicine. The tyke makes it a bit difficult because as you try and approach the mother, it hisses at you and kind of like bats at you like a kind of like a cat would. It just kind of paws at you every now and again. But clearly, you're a more intimidating creature than it's willing to admit. So it gives you the space that you need. As you look at the wound, you look at it for a moment like, I've seen a wound like this before. And then you think back to Garrett, the man that you saved, and you realize it's the same type of wound. A Yeti made this.
Oh,
Domestic violence.
I am 100% against all kinds of violence, and domestic violence is among the worst of them.
Alright, so, Skanak, you
Where
are...
there's peace should not be interrupted by violence from those who are at peace with each other.
Alright, so Skanak, you got a nat 20. You... Let's see here. Let's see here. Double checking. Yeah, it seems like there's not a whole lot here per se. There's the mess kit, an explorer's pack, and as I said before, enough blood-spattered heavy clothing to maybe sew together to make 2 cold weather outfits. There is actually something else that you notice. You notice that there is a slash bit of green cloth that looks very similar. Hey Hogs, did you ever show them the cloth that you had?
I've been wearing it around my forehead this entire time.
It's the same material, Skanak. Strangely enough. A little more tattered, maybe, but eerily similar. But I will let that nat 20 bleed into what Savage is looking at as well, because there is more to explore in this cave. Specifically, in the area where all the other bodies are, which you now see the extent of the Yeti's carnage, unfortunately. You can now see where the trophies of the creature's kills are. You see now that the rib cage that you saw before clearly belongs to a very large male, you assume. You have a sneaking suspicion this might be the Goliath of the group given the size. Amid the Goliath's bones are torn bits of hide armor, as well as a great axe, and the skulls and bones of 3 mountain goats. You also see the skull of a male individual. Interestingly enough, you do not see any other bodies besides that. You do not see another female skeleton, so you do not know the fate of whoever this tiefling woman is, because the only other female you would assume would be the halfling skeleton, and B, the skull would have horns, indicating their tiefling heritage. You do not see any of that in the immediate area.
So there was a halfling, a tiefling,
And a Goliath.
Goliath, and there was another skull, and that skull was...
Another skull, seemingly male, does not seem to fit the larger skeleton.
Does it look like it's been here for maybe a different amount of time?
It does. It does look like it's a bit older.
Ugh. Hey, what are the chances? What are the chances that this is the skull of the guy who was a ghost?
Well, I mean, it could be. We could take it with us and see if anybody can tell us.
Did he mention what he died from here?
Something about Yetis, I think.
Well, you know, maybe you should do some, like, Eldath putting him to rest sort of thing, now that we've got this,
That's a
because,
good point.
you know,
I wonder-
wherever he's haunting right now he's probably stirring up trouble, and we might be able to do something about it.
Well, the only thing I have right now that's anything like that is the ceremony. Let me think about what kind of spells I could use at this point in time if we were to do a long rest.
As Murte regains size and tumbles over the edge.
Bye, Morte.
She writes this up.
Say, Hawks. Where did you get that green fabric on your head?
Well, let me
Gotcha.
tell you, my mentor gave it to me and told me that it was something that once belonged to, was part of the cloak of one Drist Do'Urden, a person I admire greatly from tales of his heroic deeds.
Here's another bit, I guess. It's kind of like looking at
Ah,
him.
you know, there's a lot of stories about Drist coming through this region, and Hawks just kind of goes on a tangent. He's like, look at this.
Immediately glaze over.
We found a relic of an adventurer's journeys through this region. I feel like I'm retracing his steps. I'm honored to even be in the presence of this. And he's going to tie it around one of his wrists.
Okay. Excellent.
It's just, isn't it incredible that we could find something? Oh man, even if this isn't his, it's a good reminder of the journey he took, and oh, it feels so great. It's enriching. Ah,
Boom! The cave shakes.
The moment the cave shakes, I'm going to cast calm emotions on our group. Except for Savage.
we prefer Savage to not be calm.
Right,
You hear
move over to here and cast calm emotions.
a growling coming from the cave entrance.
That's somewhere around here so that it captures everybody, including Murte, and not
Okay.
Savage.
We want to try and run it, or we want to try and kill it? Quick
I'm
execution.
feeling extra heroic right now. I say we fight it.
Okay, great. Skanaka's going to prepare to cast grease in this corner area as soon as it's visible, because it looks like he'll have to squeeze.
I'm gonna move
So-
behind.
There will be a little bit of
Skanaka's preparing
squeezing
to make
done,
that a no good. Skanaka's preparing to make that a no good, very bad day for him.
Alright,
And Hawks is gonna preemptively go big.
alright. So he makes it into that little bit of space, and as he does, I will set the scene a little bit before I roll the dexterity saving throw from the grease. The creature you see before you is that of a Yeti, with a few discernible differences. The horns have become elongated and curl to an obscene point. The eyes are blaring red, where most Yetis are a blinding blue. The fangs have elongated into crooked and gnarled, jagged points. The claws, interestingly enough, have broken. And instead, you see kind of like these mangled fingers that have bleeding stumps. Go ahead and make a perception check for those of you who are looking, because you might notice something else that might be difficult to see. 20. Okay. Okay. Meepo, you're the only one that notices this. Lodged inside one of the teeth, there is a sizable chunk of Chardolin that has now fused into its jaw as a makeshift fang. You gather it probably ate something that had Chardolin or had something like alongside it, because the angle that it's located is clearly unnatural. Something else you notice as well. You see you notice it spits out the hand of a Duergar from its mouth as it sees you all. And I'm going to roll its dexterity save, and then I'm going to have you all roll initiative.
At least we don't have to deal with the Dwergar.
So, how far? I'm thinking like positioning speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Would it still be like squeezing and, doing extra maneuvering stuff if it was in this area?
No, it's just large enough for it to get through there. Because remember, these areas right here are 10 feet wide, enough for it to get through. It's mostly like this area right here that's a bit smaller, because this is their nest or was their nest in a way. So it
Right.
isn't that
It's not.
big of a squeeze for it. The other tunnel, for sure, if it was going down that way, like in fact, you probably could. In fact, if you wanted, you probably could lead it down there, and it probably wouldn't be able to reach you because like Murte, it's too big for that tunnel.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we did that, like the two paths available to us were ambush it here or shrink Morte again and try to run. I think we chose violence.
All right, so let me roll its dexterity save. Unfortunate. That's a 15.
Okay. Does it have any sort of penalty for being squeezing?
Actually, because it was squeezing through there, and yeah, actually, I think yes, it actually would have disadvantage on the save. Now that I think about it, 4. So it is in fact not prone. Good call. Good call. Thank you for reminding me of that.
It's like it steps on it, saves, and then it tries to push itself through the door, but it slips on the floor.
All right, go ahead and everyone roll initiative for me now.
All right.
Did I get off my giant smite before?
Oh yeah, yes, you did. Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Okay.
You did say that before it went through, yes. So sorry about that. You should be large.
Oof. Okay. Well, I got my thing off. It'll be fine.
I keep hitting my regular
Okay,
keyboard, not the laptop keyboard. Okay, so you will go behind the Mad Yeti. And I'm going to pick some music here. Maybe I'll get some music from good old Travis Savoy from the track Winter's Wrath. Yeah, I'll pick this one. Yeah, that's the one. Savage. It is your turn.
Okay, so while it is not prone, I'm going to rage and hack at it with my sword twice.
Okay. Which will be at advantage. Give me them numbers. Okay, a 24 definitely hits. Alright, 10 slashing damage. 22 will definitely hit. 9 points of slashing damage. Alright. You slash at it twice with your sword. As it struggles to get up, you can see the rage and madness burning in its eyes.
And since the last cities that we fought, they used their gaze, am I able to avert my eyes to attempt to avoid that?
Let me double check.
Let me double check the wording.
You don't believe that would help.
Okay.
It seems to be less you seeing it and more it magically affecting you with its sight.
Ah. Okay.
Okay, but that is your turn.
I wonder if we could like
You raged,
Radiant
right?
Blind
Caleb?
Sword.
What were you saying, Michael?
Sorry, go ahead.
Radiant Weapon lets you blind things as a reaction, so maybe if we get lucky, we'll be able to pull that off.
Maybe. Maybe.
Maybe. So, Hawks. You're
Really quick, did you rage, Caleb?
Yes.
Okay.
Why?
You should be immune to fear.
Was it a fear
Hawk.
effect?
Hawks will draw his
Is not a fear effect.
axe. He will stomp in here and try to keep it on the grease spot, basically. Body block it a little bit. And it is on the ground. There's not a whole lot I need to do to make it continue to be vulnerable to stuff. And yeah, Hawks will chop at it twice
Okay.
with advantage because it's prone. Chop. Chop.
Alright, both those attack will hit.
Boom. Boom, and I'm adding a d6 to the first one. So,
Okay.
11 and 10.
A sizable chunk of damage. Alright. As it struggles to get from the ground, both you and Savage pierce its belly in an attempt to bring the beast down, but it is made of sterner stuff. Meepo.
I'm gonna use my last use of Embolden Bond for the day. On Hawk, Savage, and Skinner. I'm gonna move back over here and then cast.
I'm silly, I didn't add a certain someone to the initiative order, because she certainly would want a piece of the action. Alright.
And that's my turn, I think.
Alrighty. Then it would be Muerte's turn, followed by Skanuk. Who's pinging?
I'm pinging the people I put Emboldening Bond on.
Gotcha. Okay, good to know. Muerte. Mosey on over. Not before she... What can I say?
Music is not playing, and I hear a dog snoring.
Well,
I'm
This is
hearing
the-
the music.
This is the best combat music. I don't know what you're talking about.
look, I can't help my dog. All right, he's very cute. He's
Did
an
you
English
potentially mute the tab? Because I'm getting music.
Yeah, I am too.
Maybe I'll reset my window here.
bulldog. Again, sorry about the dog. I can't do anything about that.
No, I know.
He's a good
There's
boy.
also
though.
master music volume in your settings, which you can adjust.
That is true.
No, it's like the the timer on the music says 0 minutes playing of 0.
Interesting.
It might
Of a
just be
zero
on
zero.
your end.
Yeah, because I'm at 621 out of 920.
Yeah, it's playing fine for me too. It might just be on your end. That's fine though. That said, Muerte is gonna be a bit of a bloodthirsty creature.
Right now.
Muerte, yes. Hang on, I need to. Where is the song? Hang on, I need to find it in general. Where is it? There it is. Muerte Blanca, stalking through the snow. Muerte Blanca, seeking out her foe with a flash of her beak, her claws like a streak. Muerte Blanca, Muerte Blanca, ha! As she attacks the tyke.
Well, there goes that plan.
Haha, you say that now, but
Oh!
what was her
Brilliant.
attack roll? What did she roll for the attack?
She hasn't. She hasn't rolled
Okay.
it yet, but I know what you're going to do.
You said,
Oh,
you
yes,
said that now,
you
and I
know
was like,
exactly
oh, I
what
know
I'm
exactly
going
what
to
he's
do.
up to.
16, which so that the beak
hear the
comes
honk
down,
behind you.
but
But
And it doesn't matter what the big one's AC is, does it?
no, because it
Uh,
still hits.
well, it uses the same roll, so it could potentially not hit.
Oh, okay.
A
but-
16 does hit though.
Yes. So the tyke is just within 30 feet of me. The attacker is just within 30 feet of me. And Yeti is definitely within 30 feet of me. So Hawks will invoke the
Lord,
Cloud Rune and just basically snatch up the impact of Blanca's beak and transfer it to the downed Yeti.
Okay, and with that,
Fantastic.
I'll say that's enough of a chance for the Yeti type to escape, so it's completely out of combat at this point. Well done, well done. I'll just put it. I won't put it on the GM layer. I'll just put it like. I'll put it like in the far corner, like up here. All right, so let me roll the damage. That would have been 1d8 plus 3. So the
He's
Yeti will
effectively-
take
That's scared.
9 points. 9 points of slashing damage. As suddenly, Savage, you see Muerte's beak coming out of a cloud. Right in front of the Yeti.
Oh, hey, Muerte, I'll use that.
Muerte just looks around confused.
Confused bird noises.
But now, it is the Yeti's turn.
Is it not Skanuk's turn?
Well, Skanuk unfortunately rolled a natural 1 his initiative, which does make him go
Ah.
last. So, it is tricky because the initiative order, he's technically higher, but I believe that is in fact how it works.
I always forget natural 1 and natural 20 stuff outside of attack rolls.
Yeah. So, the Mad Yeti will go. Let me double check what I've written down here. Yeah. I'm going to need... Let's see, who do I want to do this to?
Why you gotta say it like that? Why you gotta say it like that?
Because it's fun for me. Savage, make a Constitution saving throw for me.
I think you can add Emboldening Bond to saving throws.
You should be able to.
That's a pretty good saving throw already, though.
It is, though. So,
I didn't look at what it was when I said that.
this effect does not happen for you. Oh, actually, hold on. I actually need to roll something else because this will matter. Okay. So something happens to the Yeti. You watch as on the ground it starts to writhe and thrash. As it kind of like spins around and it actually does not do anything on its turn. It roars and spits at you with mad fury. As it reaches out its claws and rakes at its own face, as if seeming to grasp for the chartle in its mouth, but to no avail as it rakes its claws against its own face. So it actually does nothing on its turn.
So technically, even though I saved, I would still be not.
Yes, so the,
Like, I never technically rolled that save.
you never technically rolled the save.
Okay,
You're good. Sorry about that. I should have looked at my own notes.
you're good.
So, everything's fine. Skanuk.
Okay. Does it have to take another deck save for ending its turn on in the grease?
It does. However, I'm going to say that it at least is enough out of the thing so it doesn't be disadvantage.
Oh well.
17, so it is not prone.
Ah, I see.
Okay.
Well, in that case.
This in fact
I'm
makes
not
it easier
sure
to shoot you because it is no longer prone.
Yeah.
Or for you to shoot.
I'm not entirely sure what Snuff can hit it with because of Hawks being there. I guess just a firebolt would be his
Fox
best bet.
isn't really in the way.
Well, he is quite big.
But like stuff like Tasha's Caustic Brew or Catapult would be
Oh, right, yeah.
choice.
Those would be in the way.
or Shatter. Lots of things that would not be. It's not a good time to use lines. Is what I'm saying.
Fun thing.
So let's just go ahead and say
I mean,
Firebolt, and I
kind
still
of
got a
depends.
hit.
If you're willing to risk it, I do have Shield Master, so if I do pass the save, and it's a Dexterity save, I can reduce it to no damage instead of just half.
I've got like I've got a fairly beefy Firebolt, so I don't mind.
Okay. My original intention is that you'd be able to like shoot Hawks, and I could redirect that attack, but I had to use the redirect to save the Tyke.
That is fun, and we should do that at some point. So, 27 to hit,
Oof, yeah, that hits.
and 11 fire damage.
Ooh. Okay. So, something does in fact happen to the Yeti. However, instead of the normal reaction of fear that you would expect, it instead only gets angrier.
Hmm. I see. Let's see. Gonna go ahead and say, like Eustace's bonus action to take note of this behavior.
Alright.
Because I've used a cantrip for an action, I think I don't have any bonus action spells.
Okay. So,
Does your gun do a bonus action?
It takes an action to put the cannon
Okay.
down, and then you can use it on a bonus action, which
Right.
is awkward for the start of combat.
it is a bit awkward, yeah. That does leave it to Savage, though.
Rinse and repeat. But instead, I'm going to. And then double attack.
Very nice. With advantage, then. Alright, 23 will hit. 10 slashing. The creature has now been bloodied. 15 points of slashing damage. Very good. It is looking very hurt now.
That's my turn.
With its pain comes rage. Hawks.
Alright. Because we did long rest, I have my action surge back.
You certainly do.
So this is going to be 4 axe attacks at advantage. 2, 3, 4.
Okay. The 11 will of course miss. However, the other 3 do hit.
Alright. So 11, 9, 10, and an additional d6 for the Giant's Might.
I don't know if it matters, but you have Emboldening Bond, and so might be able to improve that 11.
To a 12. That probably doesn't matter.
12 actually just hits.
Okay.
Right.
So, in that case, we've got 11, 9, 10, 8, and 2. So I guess it would be 11, 9, or it's 40 damage exactly.
I know
Drop.
that sound.
How do you want to kill the Yeti?
Well, I was planning on doing my shield bash thing to try and knock it prone at the end of that as well. So I think the idea of using it to pin the thing and take its head off would be kind of how I would try to do that.
Wow, you guys really bodied that. That's man. Well, so you do. It was the fastest boss fight and makes it a bit anticlimactic on my part. So, using the shield, you slam it up against the wall, and in doing so, you take your axe and slash its head clean from its body, as if the the head itself lands right behind you. Oh god, Magnus was the fastest boss fight.
Okay,
Somebody
so
from Crimson Tides, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
so
And
as
let's
an
go.
aside, in a group that I GM'd for, I had a game that was set in the Forgotten Realms, and the party was entering a tomb where an important what are they called? Zentarim individual was entombed, and that person remained as some form of ghost. I don't remember what stat block I used exactly, and but it had enough intelligence to converse and taunt and accuse them of going into its tomb and stuff. And one member of the party was a bard. What is the deception bard? The
College of Whispers?
College of Whispers bard, and straight up natural 20'd her way through a whole bunch of deception checks to convince the fellow that actually they were the Zentarium too, and should have had the stuff that was in the tomb to continue Zentarium operations. And there's a whole lot of insight rolling that also whiffed, and a whole lot of, potentially stroking this phantom individual's ego and stuff. And so there was a boss fight that straight up didn't happen
Yeah, I had the same
because
thing. Because I decided not to use a legendary resistance I should have, and they just killed it.
I'm just gonna go ahead and turn off that initiative order.
It's the hard thing with anything in like 5e is like if you put something outside the range where a good run can just destroy it, then it will win 90% of the time.
I think I've just underestimated your guys' damage output. I think that's all it is.
Well, here's the thing. We have great damage output, but only 3 of us.
That is true. You're technically
I wouldn't say that Snuck even did great damage output. We got lucky on that grease.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
Actually, wait, it didn't do anything on that turn, so that's
It's
the
2
grease
things.
barely did anything.
Anyway, role playing. That thing has a bad tooth. If you didn't notice, I think we ought to remove it for it from wherever the head went.
fair enough. 1 second. Let me just back out of this corridor a little. Coming back. Okay.
Beep, beep,
There we
beep.
go.
I wonder what would happen if I cast Reduce on you.
Or large. Hello.
We've
I mean,
already
we know
done
that.
large.
That's true.
Reduce would just put him back to normal, wouldn't it?
We'll put him to medium.
You end up, yeah, you end up medium. That would be so weird.
Here's the thing though. Giant Might already actually leaves you at the size you were at if you don't have room to go larger. If you don't have the room to become large, I actually don't become even medium. I would just stay small. And then you could reduce me and I would be tiny but have all the benefits of Giant Might, but also all of the effects of
It's like Ant-Man.
so
So,
There is a very specific setup where I stand in a narrow hallway, use giant might, and then you reduce me. That could happen. Um,
yeah, it was a crazy amount of damage. Well,
Ooh.
alright.
If I remember right, those Yetis were useful for selling stuff, weren't they? Or making something?
Their hides were worth a little bit, yes.
Let's get cutting.
Alright, go and make survival checks.
Choppy.
Survival.
Okay.
And
Canuck is
you'd
actually
still
not very
have emboldening bond, so
Oh, goody.
that lasts for 10 minutes, and that took less than a
Yeah.
minute.
Canuck is not great with survival, so who wants to...
I'm gonna see if I can find that tooth.
Yeah, that's probably good.
Well, you did see it before, Meepo, so I actually won't have you roll another check, especially because the head is just there.
Right.
It's less of a tooth and more like
The shard, yeah, it's like stuck in its mouth. But
it's like honestly, the comparison I'd make is a hazardous nacho that got stuck in between your teeth, or like a popcorn kernel.
the death nacho.
The death, yes, the death
we are
nacho.
taking the death nacho and we are going to bury it like we did with the others.
But yeah, so it's not too difficult to remove because there's no muscle resistance anymore. So you manage you can easily take that out of the skull.
Blink.
In fact, there is a handy chasm to throw it down. Actually, 80 feet deep, if you so desired.
We can see 60 feet down, right?
Uh,
Hey, Skanut, can you make one of those rocks glowy like you did that one time?
Sure. Easy enough.
And let's see how deep that is. And see what's down there.
Goblin Town.
All right, so you head down that direction, and
Down,
you
down,
bestow
down.
it with a little bit of light. I assume you drop it down that chasm.
We dropped the rock down the chasms to see what's down there with the light. And then we're gonna see if there's anything down there that we don't want to have the chartle in. And if so, then we won't drop it. But if there is
Okay.
not anything down there, then we'll just drop the chartle in with it.
So, what you notice as you drop the rock down, it does in fact drop down 80 feet until it clatters on rock. And then you hear a soft thud as it hits something soft and fleshy. You see down below the corpses of 3 Duergar in the chasm below.
Let's try the other chasm. The one over here. Yes, that one.
Okay, repeat. Okay, down there, not as deep, maybe like 35 feet or so deep, but there's no bodies down there.
Okay. Because,
Chartle in the toilet pit.
I'll be real. What if it's what? I could see that being the tool, but yeah. Because, like, I'll be real. I think there's a non-zero chance of, like, zombies if this thing goes down there. So, let's not expose it to corpses.
Let's put some loose dirt and rocks down that hole too, just to cover it up.
Yeah. But first, well, not maybe not first, but yeah, we should also do the skinning and honestly, Savage already chopped the head off, so we can just take the head as is, with the missing tooth.
Indeed. So I can finally get back to that survival check. I apologize, I was distracted. Hawks, you managed to get the whole hide of the Yeti. Enough for a full winter's coat for 2 individuals.
Medium individuals?
2 medium individuals. So if we cut it down,
Maybe-
that would be 4. So actually, yeah, we actually make one for each of you. A Yeti coat.
We could wear matching coats.
Matching
We look like a unit.
Twinsies! Well, I guess we quadruplets, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Be quadruplets. It's a uniform.
Tried to do that in the Skinnock voice, but it just didn't.
It's the
My voice said no.
anti-RL league.
Muerte humming her own theme song in her head. Muerte Blanca, Muerte Blanca.
So how is
We could
how is the tyke doing now?
The tyke is scared out of its mind. It is in the corner, trembling. Its chest is breathing in and out. It's clearly hyperventilating.
Hey, can you calm emotions that thing?
Right, I think I will.
Keep in mind,
gonna
this is
drop
something
them
you remember. Calm motions is only for humanoids. You would know this.
Oh, you're right. I would know that. I've tried that on the Yetis before. But the last time I tried it on Yetis, it didn't work. We'll have to just calm it ourselves. Here, let me try. Go to the tyke. Kind of pushing the mom to the side gently. Tyke's back there, right?
Yes, back here. Yes, it's kind of like hiding in a little crevice.
You had them roll an animal handling to calm it down earlier.
Yes, either animal handling or persuasion. Because it's slightly bestial enough that animal handling might work, but persuasion might also work. But you don't really share a language. It's more of a body language kind of thing. 8. Yeah, I'm gonna have to roll again.
ours are not aligning for this Yeti tyke.
Oh my god. Yes. Okay, a soft 20 will definitely hit you. As you will take 4 points of slashing damage and 2 points of cold damage, as these tiny little claws rake across the underside of your chin, and you feel the biting coal hit your face as it hisses at you.
I'm just going to continue trying to persuade it to calm down.
Right, try again. This time with disadvantage.
Oh, with disadvantage?
Yep.
Okay.
Enough checks have been made now where it's probably not going to work anymore. Like at this point, it hisses more at you and it just runs away, leaving Muerte the opportunity to strike.
Oh. Now,
Well, if this
Not
is
bad.
the case, then we might as well get rid of it before it gets big.
Yeah, and unfortunately,
Unlike
there were
that's
too
not
many
the case.
failures on that check. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Morte, grab it.
Bloodlust fills Muerte's eyes. Muerte
Is it injured? I don't think
Blanca.
it's been injured, has it?
Muerte Blanca. Not enough to actually kill it. As it dashes away, leaving, going to where Muerte cannot follow.
Well, we tried. I even tried protecting it a little bit to see if that would help, but
Can I dash over to here?
You can. Currently, as you're dashing away over there, trying to cut it off, you do see it is slowly maneuvering its way across the ice. It just starts kind of like spitting a little bit at you.
Come here, little guy.
It's gonna run across the ice, making its own acrobatics check. It's not a happy camper. Dice? Ooh, baby boy. The ice cracks again. The ice begins to crack as the Yeti falls along the ice. as the ice starts to splinter and splinter and splinter. It starts to wander along the ice, trapped as the thin ice sheet begins to crack. You merely have a split second before you can do anything, as it is going to fall into the chasm otherwise.
I'm going to rage. I'm going to climb across the wall. My rage is going to be my tail, which has a 10-foot reach, and I'm going to wrap around it and carry it back to the small hallway that it just came from.
Okay, go ahead and make for me an athletics check with advantage.
This is like
A what?
horror movie monster stuff. You're climbing along the wall and grabbing at it with a whip tail and
What kind of check?
Athletics with advantage, because you're raging. Okay. You skitter along the wall. As the ice begins to crack, the Yeti type begins to fall into the crevice on the southernmost side. You reach out your tail and whoosh, grab the Yeti type before it falls completely. It screams out. As you grab it, you drag it with you. Go ahead and make for me animal handling persuasion with advantage. The DC has been lowered.
You're in charge of all of the unwieldy monsters.
Apparently so. With the 23, the creature burrows its face into your side and just starts hugging you completely. Like it is enveloped you. It is like a mother who's lost, like a child who's lost its mother. It just does not let go.
As it is, in fact.
Suck it, Beastmaster Ranger. I mean, you're not wrong here. Old Beastmaster, at least. Congratulations, Ganuk. You now have a very clingy Yeti tyke. Or, sorry, Savage.
Savage does.
Savage.
And a very angry bird.
And a very angry bird. Who will now, no doubt, be extremely jealous of the now divided attention.
Oh no.
Savage,
hey,
you're gonna have
meet
to
your
train
new
that
little
tyke to
brother.
ride. You're gonna have to train the tyke to ride.
Turn the tyke to what?
Ride.
Oh,
Yeti Riders. Just imagine it.
Muerte Blanca, Muerte Blanca.
I'm going to put the bones of the people here in a sort of puzzle way back to like a person's shape, and then like cover them with rocks.
Okay. Go ahead and do a religion check for me, just for the sake of it. $16. As respectfully as you can, you gather all the bones and try and set them up in ways that you think would be respectful. You take a moment to pray to Eldath in the hopes to give these souls peace, as they clearly were not given such in death. And you think for a moment that Eldath is watching you and is smiling, as a great calm surrounds your mind. And you finish, which leaves the task of finding the last remaining member of this expedition. Onto you. Do you exit the cave? As it seems at the moment there is nothing else to find here.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Did the explorer's pack have any pythons in it?
Good question. Here, let me double check what an explorer's pack has.
Even if they didn't normally, if these people were knowingly going up a mountain, they might have rusted along.
Yeah, I'm just double checking normally, and So there's a couple of things that you would love immediately. 50 feet of hempen rope. Who doesn't love rope?
Everybody loves rope.
Water skin, bedroll, backpack, 10 torches, 10 days of rations you'll find.
Ooh, nice.
As well, you would... you know, it doesn't have pythons in there, but honestly, I'll give you 10 pythons. Because like you said, they're adventurous. They would have pythons. It makes sense.
If they're going like mountain climbing, it makes sense.
Yes. So, you all leave the cave, and Hawks shrinks back to his normal self. Bloop, 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 bloop. With your new friend, question mark, in tow, you maintain the climb. Let's see here. Double checking the book, just in case. Getting this right. I just closed it. Do-do-do-do. There you are. Hold on. That's not right. Okay. You climb for another couple hours. At this point, the air is starting to get a little thin, and you're having a bit trouble breathing, but it's not coming to the point where it's too much of a burden on you as of yet. But as you make the climb and continue on your way, you come to the edge of a vast and deep crevasse, with nowhere to go but down. You notice, all of you, a collapsed tent lies half buried in the snow near the precipice. As you get closer, you notice a pair of blue leather boots jutting out of one of the tents. And next to this display, you see a figure, a humanoid figure, in cold weather gear, sitting in the snow, her knees pulled tight to her chest. You see horns protruding from underneath the figure's fur-lined hood.
Is there any movement?
There is no movement that you can see.
Ow!
No response.
Hello there.
No response.
Well,
Is it? How far is it from us? Is it on the same side as us?
It's down below, probably maybe 30 feet or so down. You can't see their face from this angle. They are facing away from you. But you can at least tell it is a tiefling from the way their horns are oriented.
well, let's climb down.
Alright.
Which,
We want to do the same thing we did earlier with Savage going down and taking the pythons as he goes.
well, in this case, we could probably sink a python up here and just drop a rope down.
Oh, that's true.
It's true.
So
I
Hops
have-
will begin to do that.
Yeah, I will. We can use one of my pythons because I took the 10 from in there. So
Okay. And then to tie the rope, sleight of hand.
Sure, go ahead and make a sleight of hand check for me.
To advantage because of the cloud rune.
But yes, that's true. Ooh.
Really?
Oh,
So, you tie the rope. You think it's pretty secure. And as you make your way down, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
who's making it?
Okay, so you're going to take some damage, unless someone has something to say.
I'm at the top. I'm gonna try to grab the rope before it falls.
Okay.
Yep.
Make your... Make either a dexterity or strength saving throw of your choice, Meepo. Ooh.
Going with it.
So you are, apparently. You both will take... Okay, that was probably the best you could have taken. You kind of, instead of falling straight down, you kind of tumble down the side of the face. It's a bit of a slant, so you just kind of get a few cuts and scrapes, taking 5 bludgeoning damage from the fall.
Wait.
Exactly. Like, where'd they go? What happened?
It's okay. Meepo landed on me, so
I'm sorry. I was a bit late there, I think.
Yeah.
We should have had somebody holding the rope up here just in case.
Unfortunately, as you're tumbled, as you kind of stand up to catch yourself, Meepo, you back up into the body of the tiefling, and you hear a snapping sound as the arm breaks off.
Oh. No.
It appears the individual has succumbed to the cold and has been dead for some time. But has been, unlike the others who had been presumably eaten, found her death in the cold, to the elements. Her gaze now, you can see, is, now that you're getting a better look at her, is looking towards the individual with the blue boots, with a look of despair on her face, frozen. As you're looking at the body of the individual with blue boots, the clothing seems familiar. Make an intelligence check with advantage. That clothing looks an awful lot like that ghost's clothing. The boots even look similar. The only thing that's missing is the head.
I think we found that, too. Yeah? Sort of.
I think I took the head. Because I said I was going to take it and have somebody look at it. So I'd have the head with me. I'm going to set it next to the body. And then I guess... just... maybe we should rest here so that I can... I don't know. I'm gonna try doing destroy undead. Or turn undead and then destroy undead on the body. See if that works.
Okay. You do destroy undead, turn undead. The body does not move. It does not seem there is any undead influence on this body. It is simply someone who died here to the elements. You notice it is in fact a much older body than the tieflings. Clearly it's been here far longer than her.
What if we burn it?
I'm also gonna do ceremony on it. With the silver they got.
Very good.
If I take enough time, can I get down without a check? Assume it's like a 30-minute thing or something.
Sure. I'll let you take some time to avoid a check. It will take a lot of time, but both you and Savage has climbing, so
Yeah, Savage doesn't care.
Savage don't care. He can already get down there. You take around 30 minutes though, so you do get down there eventually. At this point though, eventually Skinnock will meet up with you, but at this point you are all together. And Meepo, you begin the funeral rite. Takes about an hour. So as you all are waiting for Meepo to finish, I would like the rest of you to make perception checks for me.
Section?
Right in front of you. Right in front of you, Skinnock.
Yeah.
Ah!
That makes sense. He's too concerned about Morte being right there.
Exactly. You try and focus around, but Muerte pecks you in the head. Boom, boom, boom.
Why?
Ah! Clearly hungry. She kind of nuzzles you for food. Savage. Wow. Again, proving that that lost eye is not really hampering Savage in this case.
Well,
It just
that was the first time that I've rolled higher than 10 on my perception this game.
True. Sorry, I just want to point out sometimes that happens, just like that 22. That's fair though. So Savage, as you kind of look around, you look at the peak of the mountain, which at this point probably isn't any more than, well, this is not to scale, probably around maybe 150 feet above you. At the top of the peak, you see what I can only describe as the shattered remains of a tower. Long since ruined, probably wouldn't even be worth investigating. But something that is noticeable is what the material it's made out of is. Chardolin, the black ice. And what else is noticeable is that there are chunks that have been mined off, from what you can tell. And with a 22, I'll give you something else as well. As you blink against the wind and snow, you see several trails of footprints for medium-sized humanoids, squat humanoids, heading down the other side of the mountain, as well as a sled trail and boot prints from a much larger creature, also with boot prints. But that is
That's
what you know.
That's almost certainly the rest of the Dwergar that we're here looking for black ice. Should we consider following them?
I think we should meet back up with Garrett at least and let him know of his companion's fate.
It's a shame we've got to bear such bad news for our fellow adventurer.
Tis the life of an adventurer, right?
I suppose that's true. Well, let's in that case, let's meet up with him, get that established, and figure out where we want to go from there.
Very well. So you all head back down the mountain.
Before we do go, I wanted to double check the guy's boots and see if they were like magical or anything. And see if the tiefling had anything on her to identify her so we could bring that down.
Sure. As you look through the tiefling's body, you find several things, actually. You find... Well, first, let's do the other person's body. You find an empty wineskin and a half-eaten block of goat's cheese. It's probably bad by now. You figure as well, the individual that they would have had a satchel in them, but they carry that with them with Trex when the ghost inhabited his body, so that isn't there. With the tiefling's body, Asterix, you find a potion with a clear, swirling liquid and a leather-bound book that has arcane markings on it. Just one taking a look at it.
Can I
Scanak.
check to see if the book has any traps on it, glyphs?
Sure, make an investigation check.
Just with this. Because I am very interested.
11. Not that you can tell, so you kind of open up to look at it. Thankfully, no weird glyphs. But what you do see is arcane magic. This is clearly a wizard spellbook.
I'm going to hand it to Skinnock and say, I don't have much use for this, but you might be able to find some use for it. I don't know. Pretty sure these are expensive.
Indeed, especially with all these spells listed inside it. Go ahead and make an arcana check for me, Skinnock. Because even though you're not a wizard, you might at least be able to determine what spells are inside, given your artificery nature. 10. Okay, you can at least get a couple. You see, one of the spells is Cloud of Daggers, one is Comprehend Languages, and one is Detect Magic. The others are unknown to you.
Sort of interesting.
The potion is a potion of invisibility.
Very interesting.
I can do that myself, so somebody else can have that.
Feed it to Blanc.
Let's not put that evil into the world.
Spellcasting Yeti. No, just kidding.
Spellcasting death riding Yeti.
But what about Paladin Yeti? No.
Oath of vengeance against other Yetis.
Ooh, fun.
All right, so I assume you make your way back down the mountain, because otherwise there's nothing else to see that you can tell.
Shadow. You need to get out of her way.
I mean, should we like bring the tiefling's body at least?
Uh,
Ow.
is there any way we could get Muerte to carry it?
Muerte just kind of looks in your direction. Aw.
So I don't know that I'm big enough to carry it, but for a minute at a time. So
Oh, we should take the tent.
A smart
That's
idea.
true. That'd be useful.
More tents.
It's a bit tattered, but with a little patching up, it should be good as new. So, you take the tent. I assume. Would you like to use it as a makeshift? What's the word for it? Stretcher or something along those lines.
Oh yeah, let's do that. And just drag her.
Sure. You tie her to Muerte and you drag the body down as best as you can down the mountain. Some rough patches here or there, but you do bring her down eventually. And you break the news to Garrett, who is quite beside himself. But he takes it as best as he can.
Has he had a chance to rest at all?
He has, and he's at least removed another point of exhaustion, but he is still quite tired. But he has at least gotten his sled in working order enough that he could ride on his own sled with his dogs. And you are reunited, of course, with Bean, who is very wary about your new party member. What is that?
Bean, meet monkey.
Is that his name?
Hard pass, and he goes into Meepo's cloak and like hides.
I don't know.
That tickles. You mind moving out of there?
No, this is my safe spot now.
You can get on the sled.
I don't want to be near that thing.
It's alright, it likes Savage.
And that's supposed to be comforting?
Yeah?
Looks towards a single branch peeks out of your robe and looks towards Muerte. And as you all venture back towards the 10 towns, I will ask, are you going to go along the Dwarven Valley? Or are you going to... I will say, which way are you going back?
Well,
We haven't been there yet.
we haven't been to
Just
Caer
go back.
Konig or Caer
Thought we
Denival.
would.
Yeah, but on the same token, do we want to be going somewhere new with Yeti in tow before we sort something out with it?
Good
that
point.
is. Yeah, that's kind of an excellent point.
Do we also want to go somewhere where we're still making inroads with Yeti in tow? So maybe Tourmaline.
Isn't Lonelywood the place we defended from awakened animal Normandy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we don't have
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
the ability to go about as ourselves that way. Tourmaline, we were at least able to walk around as kobolds.
That's true.
So, is Tourmaline your destination then?
Yes.
Very good. You make your way across the tundra, and I need to roll something.
While we're moving,
Hmm.
Meepo would kind of be talking about an idea she's had.
Okay.
So, there's this holiday. Actually, it's the only holiday that Eldath has. It's called sorry, I lost it. It's called Greening. It's celebrated at a place called Greengrass. But it happens right after First Flow, which is a sort of festival that happens when the waters start to break up and begin to flow after winter. Since it's been winter so long up here, there hasn't been a First Flow up here, and there hasn't been any greening. I was wondering, once we've finished dealing with all of this, if y'all would want to celebrate First Flow with me.
All right.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time.
Hopefully, sort that out. Sure.
The other thing I was thinking was maybe we could start a new holiday for the next time winter comes along, just so that people don't get as worried as they might. So I was thinking winter will come back like a normal thing, but people will be a little bit worried as it comes along. I thought maybe a holiday to kind of ease our way into it would be a good thing. And we could call it First Fall. I have all sorts of ideas for how we could celebrate it.
I can't say I've ever participated in the creation of a holiday before, so
I think taking out Arl and stopping much too long winter would be a good reason to start a holiday if you see what I mean.
right. But is there like some authority you need to submit your concept to? Is there an approval
I think
process?
as long as Eldath doesn't oppose it, I think it'd be fine. I mean, I could always ask some higher clerics. Just have to find them.
Interesting.
Meepo, an arrow flies right by you and lands into the snow.
That was not nice. I'm gonna put
Who
my
is
hands up.
who is firing upon us?
You see, no more than 50 feet away from you, hiding amongst the trees. At this point, you are now coming upon close to Tourmaline. Stepping out from the tree line, you see a band of orcs, and the beating of drums fills the air. And I'm going to end the session there for tonight.
War never faces.
Orcs, orcs,
So-
orcs, orcs.
Would we have taken a long rest near the tiefling, the frozen tiefling, or
Nope.
was that a short rest?
That was a short rest.
Okay, so we just as we were. Okay,
All right.
that's honestly, we did not use much in that
Yeah, but
fight, so
fell down a cliff
That is true. You took 5 damage.
And I was hit
Wait,
by
no,
a
how much?
Yeti tyke.
That's true.
Now, from what you notice, it was a warning shot. They have not openly attacked you, but there may be a chance for peace. Maybe.
Ah,
You'll have to find out.
if there's a chance for peace, I will make it.
You better try. You better know how to speak Orc.
I've already raised my hands up in the air, so it looks like I've started on it immediately. Do not have that
Definitely.
language.
Well, we'll definitely have to get to that next time, though, because I'm going to have to call it there. But if you have been watching, thank you so much. Well, we appreciate it. For anyone who wished to see our shenanigans, and hopefully we'll see you next week. But until then, bye-bye.
Bye.
Peace.